If you're a skinny vegan that wants to get jacked, then I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do. First, you gotta identify which type of skinny vegan you are, because there's two types and both require different approaches. The first type is when you're like skinny vegan, like this, okay? Her name's Clarice. In this case, there are certain things you gotta implement on the nutrition side and training side to make sure that you gain weight and gain muscle mass. The first thing is to put yourself in a caloric surplus. That means eating more calories than the ones you burn on a daily basis, because if you burn this amount of calories and you eat this amount of calories, the remainder, the extra energy, the surplus, is going to be turned into tissue. And if you're training properly and eating sufficient protein, then some of that tissue will be muscle mass and a little bit will be body fat, but you'll gain weight. You can do this for a period of 4 to 6 months, gaining weight slowly, okay? So first thing, put yourself in a calorie surplus. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to calculate the amount of calories, protein you need to reach these goals. The second thing is you gotta eat sufficient protein. As you're gaining weight and training, you wanna make sure that that weight is good weight, meaning muscle mass. You don't wanna put on a bunch of body fat. In order for that not to happen, the protein intake will be key. So you gotta eat sufficient protein, somewhere in between 0.7 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. Protein will be key in your muscle building journey. And the last thing, the third thing, is you gotta be training properly. You gotta have a program that makes sense in the gym. You gotta apply progressive overload. You gotta have proper technique in the gym and do lots of compound moves and some isolation exercises to make sure you're gaining muscle in the right areas and you're not gaining a bunch of body fat. So this is a strategy if you're like super skinny vegan. Now, the next case is when you're a skinny fat vegan, kind of like Chris. When he started with us, he wasn't overweight, he wasn't like greatly out of shape. He was at a healthy body weight, but his body composition wasn't that of a muscular jacked person. So what do you do in that case? The first thing to do is the opposite. If you're a skinny vegan, is you gotta put yourself in a caloric deficit, because we gotta get rid of the extra body fat. You have some body fat in your stomach and maybe your legs and lower back. We wanna get rid of that. So a caloric deficit means that you're gonna be eating fewer calories than the ones you burn on a daily basis, right? If you eat this amount of food and you expend this amount of energy, your body has to make up for the deficit, and it's gonna do so by using tissue to fuel those activities. The next thing, the second thing, is again the protein. As you can see, protein is equally important in both scenarios, because when you're losing body fat, like in this case, you're gonna be experiencing recomposition while you're losing body fat and body weight. So as you lose weight, you will also gain muscle mass, and that's gonna be accomplished with proper protein intake. Again, the same amount of protein, somewhere between 0.7 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. And the last thing, just as the first case, guess what it is? Training. You need a properly planned and designed training program. You need to implement proper technique in the gym, and you need to execute that consistently over time. When you're a skinny fat vegan and you want to get shredded and build muscle mass, then you can do this for like 3 to 4 months. It all depends on starting point. That's why every individual needs a different approach, a different length, a different structure of programming. So it's all very individualized. Now, so if you're someone who's listening to this video and you identify yourself with one of the two cases that I mentioned, and you want to figure out how to do this, how do you properly for your goals, then you can check out the description for the 7-day Jack Vegan High Protein Challenge. And this is a challenge in which in a short week, I'm going to teach you how to calculate the calories that you need for your fitness goal, how to set your protein levels, how to set your carbs and your fats, how to turn these numbers into meals, how to go grocery shopping, and by the end of the week, you're gonna understand how to do meal prep, and you're gonna be eating high protein vegan meals specifically designed for you and your goals. So if you wanna get the challenge, it's down below in the description. You can click on it, it's very cheap, so it's very easy to implement. You can start right away, and in a week, you're gonna be crushing your fitness goals. That's all I have for you today. I appreciate you staying until the end. If you appreciate the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video.